As an American man, when do you become a man? When you get a driver's license? Like, when do you become a man? You become a man when you become responsible for other people. And part of that is taking accountability. Yep. And so like, I'm very new to this being a man thing, and I'm still not there, and I'm on a path. Yeah, and also you got to get the fuck out of the way. And that's where the work really is. It's like getting out the way. This bigger thing to work in your life. Because the bigger thing is working in your life whether you know it or not. And you're either gonna let go willingly or you're gonna get dragged. But either way, you're gonna be humbled in this life. And there's nothing you can do about it. I was blessed to work with Abel and had an incredible experience working with him and made a lifelong friend in him. And he had the clout and was insane enough and was searching for something so specific that he thought I was the right guy for the job. I have something to offer for a very specific kind of guy in a very specific kind of role. It happened to work there. It also had intrinsic value attached to it. Yep. And so that, you know,
that you learned by doing it. You didn't know going in.
Nah,
as it is.
I went in there on a let me get back to my hustle mission. You know, Abel Ferreira, Willem Dafoe. Oh shit, I'm back on. I can read the deadline articles now. More humility had to happen through the process. Yeah. You know, and has to happen on a day-to-day basis. You know, I'm movie got into Venice. It's in competition. Boy, right away my fucking head could talk all kind of shit and make me feel like, oh, you know what? You're back on, dog. You know. And I spend a lot of time in prayer. Like, why do you got us going there? You know, why have you made it accessible to me and not to other people?
Why have you provided me wiggle room? It is my responsibility to not make it that.
Yeah. And what kind of lesson am I supposed to be learning here? Not just in how to navigate the stuff away from set, but how do I navigate on set relations? Do you want me to work different? It was like, because my main priority was my good guy, and my way of working was not about that at all. My way of working was animal. Totally. It was totally instinct driven, magic cultivating, couldn't even put my finger. I don't have a process. You at least have I don't have no process. I don't even know what it is. But this time it was because I was playing a priest, a monk, and I was surrounded by non-actors. There was only monks around me. And there's a certain amount of humility that comes with being a priest, and a certain amount of suffering that you ask for. You know, a priest is a masochist. It's the most masochistic thing in the world to want to be a priest. Because what are you actually doing? It's the ultimate performance. When you go up and run mass, you're performing the death of Christ. You're not just telling the tale. You are embodying the journey to the mount. You are performing it. And the good ones really go there. I happen to be playing a dude who invited a certain amount of destruction into his life. He invited a certain amount of pain, and he painted with his pain. Pio specifically felt that his mass was a mass of tears. And so he would cultivate all this pain. He was nourishing and cultivating and watering his pain on a day-to-day basis because he felt his purpose was to suffer for others. And I was there for a minute. I remember talking to you about like what this job is. You know, your job is to show up and bleed out. That's how we used to talk about this. What is the job? Show up and die in front of the camera. You better, you know, leave it all on the field. That's how I used to talk about my craft was I am a vessel for suffering. What I do best is I suffer in front of a camera. It's the most loving, calm, collaborative, lack of control in a performance I've ever had. The performance isn't something I made, it happened to me. This time it was like I was leaning on dudes who weren't actors, you know, and they would look at me and they don't have the answers either. And you're playing one of the most important figures in all of Catholicism. The pressure's heavy. The pressure's enormous. You're in Italy. You're staying at the seminary he grew up in. He is considered like the most important, other than Christ in Italy, he is the most important Catholic. He's more important than St. Francis. They paint him on walls. So when you tell people you're playing Pio right away, you can't live up to it. It's just impossible. You're never gonna get it. And really, it's like playing Bob Dylan. If you're gonna play Bob Dylan, you better learn how to play some songs. That's right. If you're gonna play Pio, you need to know how to run a mass. And so there's a lot of pressure in a mass. And so 11 months of prep went to this one moment where you're getting ready to run this mass. And old me would have been so managed. Old me would have been so nitpicky and so controlling, and this got to be there and that's got to be here. And really, like, I showed up on set. It was the easiest and probably the best work of my life. I showed up on set. I looked at this man. I told him I loved him. He told me he loved me, and then you're off and running. And I had nenever had that as a motivator. When I told you, like, what motivated my life before all this happened to me wasn't love. It wasn't goodwill towards my fellows. The idea that somebody's life would be motivated by that felt cheesy and like naive, you know, like not in this dog-eat-dog environment. No way. It's actually the most powerful.
100%.
I remember Brad turning to me one time in a scene, and this is Brad, right? Brad, no matter what you look at, you know, there's no way you can write the man off. As a craftsman, as a fucking Adonis, as a father, as an all-around G. The dude is thorough. And I remember being on set with him, and him turning to me after a scene and saying, man, what do I do? And my fucking ass got lost. I was intoxicated. Brad Pitt just asked me what to do. I didn't even hear what the question was. My response wasn't even, it didn't come from no honest place. All I heard was, you're amazing.
Wow.
I didn't see the genius of his humility.
Wow.
I didn't see the beauty in his love. I didn't see it. I didn't see this selfless act. He was actually bigging me up.
Yep.
And using his take to do it. He knew I was next. He knew they were gonna turn this camera around and I was gonna have to go after him, because no matter how you structure it, when you're the star of a movie, you go first, usually. And he was going first, and he used his last take. He threw it away just so he could big me up, because he knew the camera was turning around, and all I heard was, you're fucking amazing, dog. Give me advice. And that fucked me up for a while. I just wasn't ready to hear or see what he was actually doing, which was coming from this place of humility and love. Like, he leveled himself to like big me up, and I had never moved like that or knew anything about that in life or in craft. But I've been around dudes who did it, I just couldn't see it.